Good evening, traders. Okay, some things I'm looking at here for Friday. This would be it will be my morning brief. So just heads up on that. Ballard came out this morning and is talking about multiple rate increase, having to aggressively increase the rates increases from the Fed to get this inflation under control. But the main bomb that he gave everybody that they might be doing a rate increase before the next meeting. And, basically, we've been told up to this point that Powell was going to pre announce and well inform the public on any type of rate increases. Now, all of a sudden, that scenario is off the table in the overnight session. And there was plenty of time for Powell to come out and make a public statement to rebut uh, Ballard's statements, but he did not. So that says a lot that they're really thinking that we might be going into the first of next week with a rate hike. Okay. And that adds a whole element of risk to this market, which we have not had for a very long time. So I do want to point that out going into tomorrow. Now, let's go on my charts here. We have major resistance. See that yellow dot right there? That is a major resistance line. So it rejected right here. One. Okay. That was around the 20th, 19th, 20th, something like that. That rejected. Then it rejected again. Okay. That was on the 2nd of this month. And now this is 2 days in a row back to back. Hard rejection on SPY here. And basically, you see how fast we came down here? Last time we came down that fast, we broke down and it was just absolute carnage after the breakdown. So now we have to think there is a chance that we could be coming all the way down here to the 430 area on SPY tomorrow, retesting these prior lows. So this is definitely something to think about going into the overnight session. Yeah, really not looking too healthy here. So basically, keep that in mind whenever you're sleeping here. If you got some long positions, I kept telling people in the trading rooms, this is not the time to be going long or be. I go cash every night, so I don't have to worry about it. But I mean, I know right now I wouldn't be able to sleep tonight if I had long positions. So, and I value my sleep. And so there you go. So basically, I am expecting a 200-day moving average test probably early tomorrow morning. So we'll just keep that one on watch as well. Okay. So that's our SPY. Okay, guys, continue my video here. Here are the cues. So here after hours, we are pushing below major support. We had a little wedge pattern going on here, so we are pushing outside of that wedge pattern for the overnight session here on the cues. Definitely keep this on watch. So thing could get pretty violent here. On the 1 hour, we're below all of our moving averages. We have a monthly support below us down here, probably going to open up around this area tomorrow morning. And then we have a volatility box below us on that. So if we start losing the June, July, October monthly closes, that could be pretty rattling for the markets tomorrow. So heads up on that. So definitely keep that in watch, in my opinion. IWM guys, IWM had basically now we have a double top here on IWM. So we have confirmed a double top, rejected hard today. So the December low, they just absolutely did not want to have anything to do with that. They said, forget this. And we are going to be re-entering our volatility box right possibly out of the gate tomorrow. So very, not a good sign at all to be entering the volatility box before the market even opens. That even increase the odds even more. We're going to go back to the bottom of the box and possibly retesting prior lows here on the Russell. So, this one here is not looking too healthy, unless we get an overnight pop here. So, now that we have this whole inflation theme out there, so a theme that I'm looking for the bulls, okay, if this were to come out, okay. So, what I'm seeing here, you see this line right here? We're coming up, we came up, rejected, now we're coming down on crude. So if we can reject this trend line on crude, come down to the last week open sometime tomorrow, then that would be putting in a head and shoulders scenario for crude oil. Okay, that I know that might be a big, that might be a very high, unexpected dream, but I'm just saying. So we're basically almost 50% flat here on crude. Okay, and what was really been driving the interest rates today was the whole fear, what Baylor was saying, and yeah, if we could sit here and say that crude is, flat, not going anywhere, or if crude's coming off, that takes some of that inflationary pressure off for tomorrow's session. So if this were to play out, that might actually help relieve some of these interest rates on the bonds and stuff. So if you go slash 10 year on, yeah, it's 10Y. If you just go slash 10Y, that gives you your yield. So we did close. We're right now still above 2% here on our 10-year yield, and 2.7. And I tell you, we really need that to have a decent day tomorrow, is to see these rates come back down. So and it's not only that; it's also hitting high grade bonds like LQD. Your high grade bonds just got rattled today, and go on daily, I think, or it's weekly. I can't remember. Weekly. You can see just how much carnage is being done here. I mean, it's just unfathomable. So basically, we're coming down. We're at the bottom of the trading channel. Technically, we should bounce tomorrow. So it suggests that bonds should bounce tomorrow, and that would definitely fall in line with if crude comes back off tomorrow, and starts building out that head and shoulders pattern. That would alleviate a lot of this bond issues that we had today, and that could be supportive for the markets tomorrow. So I do want to float that idea out there. So guys, as far as weekly candles go, weekly crosses today, Philip Morris, we did break above on earnings, break above last week's candle and hold. So keep that in mind on the bullish side today. That's just on my scan. That's the only one that actually managed to do that for today. And that's what I always like to look for continuation steps. And then we have the breakdowns, and there's a lot of breakdowns. Broke down below the low candle, not the low close, the low candle last week. That's my scans right here. J&J broke down. Okay, there you go. It's not, I'm talking about a weekly candle. Okay, and then we broke the weekly candle. See, there you go. See. So we do have that on my thing. The India ETF, it broke last week. Lilly, here's something I want to float out here, guys. Okay, Lilly, this is like a lot of the other charts, Pfizer too, and some of the others. I do think we are at the beginning stages of a bear market in the healthcare. Okay, and in some of these pharmaceuticals, specifically the pharmaceuticals. And like, because we are coming out of this COVID crisis, I think all these are setting up to break down in the coming days or coming weeks. So Lilly is one of them there that I got on watch. And then Pfizer had some bad news. There was a big, I don't know what type of article it was. I don't know if it was a doom and gloom article or something like that. But Pfizer's looking a little weak here too. So keep that one on watch as well. So Pfizer, we're breaking, possibly breaking the weekly 20 SMA to close the week out here. Okay. So keep that one on watch here on that one. Let's see here. Any other big ones here I want to talk about? IYR. This is your real estate ETF. This thing here, it gets hit when higher interest rates. This thing here could be breaking down. So if you put a little trend line right here, you can see where the support is. Okay, IYR 50 weekly. We might be setting up to a very bad week next week for our real estate ETF, okay? Whirlpool. Looked at this a little while ago. Whirlpool looks like we are setting up for a breakdown pattern on Whirlpool. Heads up on that one. This one here. Going into next week, you could probably get some puts on this and get paid well on Whirlpool. Let's see here. Any others? I don't know if I've charted out any others. Adobe. Okay. So Adobe looks like a possible breakdown into the primary channel here. So Adobe is setting up for a breakdown channel for lower prices. Earnings are already out on that one. Let's see, I can't remember if there's any others I actually did. 1 second here, and I will look. Another one on a weekly breakdown here, BlackRock. It's one of your, that's a major player in the stock market, okay? So BlackRock potentially setting up for a breakdown pattern for a rotation all the way back down here. Really looking ugly here for BlackRock, okay? Okay, now I'm going to move into some the option action which we saw today. So we had a lot of action, of course, in SPY and IWM and the Qs, you know, obviously with what's going on there. But as far as this week's expirations go, we just had strong put activity, of course, because of the markets the way they are. And that's for this week expiration. Still quite a really strong option activity on the put side today. And so Microsoft, it really jumps out. So there's a lot of put action in Microsoft. I traded this earlier. Of course, I have my stops to try, and I don't even want to talk about how much I missed on that trade. Okay. So I got stopped out at a loss, and lo and behold, it was one of the best trade ideas I had of all day. And that was earlier this morning. I took it. Micron puts very active today. Okay, so just keep this one on watch. Uh, you know, they took that one back off down, you know, so definitely something to keep on watch for tomorrow. Very active on the Micron front. They were buying, trading the TQQ, okay, Ultra Pro. So there were very strong volumes on that. That one was red, of course. They were probably liquidating their positions on that one there. TLT, because of the whole bond thing. TLT's down here. Here's the lows. So, they were getting the puts on those, buying the puts probably on the TLT. EMB, merging U.S. emerging market ETF. So the emerging market ETF really getting hit here. Quite a bit of put action, the 104s especially. So they dumped into this today. Walmart's on the puts. There you go. Multiple bottom here now on Walmart going into the overnight session. A lot of puts in HYG. Okay. And then we had, let's see here. The call side, well, Microsoft, of course, because you had both sides. NVIDIA calls were really active for this week. So keep that one on watch. NVIDIA wasn't really on the put side. SQQ, of course, that's the calls. That's your inverse for the pro shares. So, you know, the calls on that's is it calls or puts? Yeah, calls. SQQ. Yeah, ultra short. Ultra short. So they were buying calls on that thinking Qs were bearish. Got it? And then we had Pepsi. Pepsi calls. So for this week, they were trading, you know, we just had earnings on that too. So that could have been an earnings play. So you don't want to read too much into it. VMW. I think there was some news out in Europe out of VMW. I don't know what it is. The calls were really active. There might be some sort of news event tomorrow morning. Or VMware. No, that's VMware. I'm sorry. That's I don't know what's going on there. But they were pretty active. XOP, of course, that's your energy. The calls were active. Don't know if they're trying to get out of the calls or not. Just floating that idea. Coke was also, and then of course our diamonds. I really don't want to do the ETFs too much. Very active call activity. This was a crowded trade to the upside, so heads up on that. That's probably why those calls are active. Okay, guys, you don't get this from anybody else out there. The options for next week. Okay, guys. Basically, I sit there and I did the numbers on that stuff. We're looking 4-1 on the put side going into next week. You know, whenever you're seeing large bets, mean on a bad day, you're seeing very large bets for the following week. That's typically not a very bullish sign. Okay, guys. So LQD, very strong. That had the strongest put action today. But like I said, we might be into some support on that. Yeah, Microsoft. There you go. EMB, I mentioned that one before, right? Puts, very strong puts on that for next week too. SPY, Qs, XHB, home builders. I mentioned that pre-market this morning. With what's going on with the interest rates, that's very bearish for home builders. So guys, look at what we got going on here. We are setting up for a possible breakdown here. So heads up on that. Going forward here, we could be setting up for a breakdown next week on this. This would be your head, left shoulder, head, and a possible right shoulder. So, we may have already put the consolidation in for a just fall off the cliff scenario here for our home builders here. So heads up on that going forward here. We are getting a lot of put action because of what's going on with the whole bond market. So heads up on that. I had mentioned about Toll Brothers this morning pre-market, and I didn't take it, of course. That sucks. Okay, some other ones. Puts, TNA. Okay, that's your 3 times IWM. Puts in HYG. That's one of your bonds. That's your high yield bonds. This is your junk bonds. They're buying puts in that going into next week. IEF. Okay. This is another one of your bond funds. They are buying puts in that. And then XBI, that's your biotechs. S&P biotechs. They are actually adding puts to that. And if we go out, I don't know if we can see anything on the weekly here. So they are, thinking that there's a lot of risk on the biotechs even for next week. So heads up on that. Now on the call side, we still got Microsoft because it's got a lot of stuff. Coke. I never traded this one. ABC. I've seen that. Okay, I've seen this one here. The calls are active for next week. ABC. It's a really strong chart pattern, and we're going into next week with the calls being active here. Have some active calls on Pfizer. So keep that one on watch here. We might be coming down into a trend possibly here, but we do have active calls for next week on Pfizer. Okay, and Bristol Myers next week. Next week, Bristol Myers for a possible move higher here on that one. So keep that one on watch. So to finish my video out here, I'm going to talk about all the stocks that crossed their 200-day moving average on different time frames. So on the daily time frame here, on the bullish side, AstraZeneca, it did cross bullish today. Dust, which is the bearish ETF for gold miners, it did cross bullish. So your Dust crossed bullish, bearish gold miners. Okay. And then CYH. That one crossed bullish. That's your community health systems. Cross bullish on the daily. Okay. Then cross bearish, of course, the Qs. This is one of your semiconductors. I think Soxel. It went bearish. XLV. Important to know these fighters whenever there's crossing. I'm getting an alert that it crossed today. I don't see it actually crossing. I don't know. But it's saying on my scan the XLV did cross that. Cisco, my chart could be a little bit off on that. Cisco, we crossed to the bearish side. KMI, Kinder Morgan crossed to 200. XLY, now that's your consumer discretionary. So we did cross back down bearish on our consumer discretionary. There you go. We went up, came down. This is a very bearish pattern. Keep this one on watch going forward here. This could be a very bearish. The bottom line is when it came down, you see how that is a bearish continuation candle. 3-candle reversal signal. So definitely keep that one on watch. IYR, that was your real estate ETF I mentioned earlier. Crossed below the 200 today. Newmont, that's one of your gold miners. Crossed your 200 today. So this gives you an idea where money's going. Clorox crossed the 200 today. ConocoPhillips or Capital One Financial did cross back down below. NXPI, that's one of your semiconductors. NXPI went back down below. Lilly crossed the 200 today. And NDX, NASDAQ 100, guys. We did reject the 200. So we went up to above it, closed right above it, and we rejected hard on the NDX. This is a very bearish signal, okay? Possibly a very bearish signal going forward here, okay? Now on a weekly time frame, real quick here, we did have Facebook's hitting me on the weekly time frame and away from the 200. Obviously, because Facebook got hit so hard. Merck, so we broke down last week and we're still below this week. Okay, and then on the bullish side, we had ARC on a weekly time frame. I got the wrong chart, don't I? Put the week up. Sorry about that. So on a weekly time frame, ARC did cross above that. It looks like barely closed above that 200 on ARC investment here. Twilio, earnings out. We came back above the weekly 200 after our post earnings here. Penn Gaming, that's one of your casino stocks or gaming stocks, coming off a major 200-day moving average, weekly moving average here. Under Armour crossed back over the 200 here, and so we got Hog, which was a really strong breakout on Hog after their earnings this week. Baidu, we're barely right there at that 200-day moving average on that one. Okay. Now on the bullish side, on the monthly time frame, so we still have Vail on a monthly. I have to change the chart to monthly here so you guys can see. On a monthly time frame, Vail, that's one of your steel companies from Brazil. ExxonMobil, of course, still holding in there on a monthly time frame, just barely though. Mattel on a monthly time frame. There you go. Breaking out here. CCJ on a monthly time frame. No, that ain't right. Yeah, because we closed down here. So, that one here actually shouldn't show up. I don't know why it's showing up. And then Mosaic. Mosaic is breaking out. So these are strong these are patterns that are supposed to be only showing everything above the candle wick high on my scan. Okay, guys? And I didn't have any bearish scans on the monthly time frame showing up today. Okay? So that just gives you a few charts that I'm looking at here. Some of the major trends that are setting up as we go forward here. I'm tempted to take Whirlpool puts tomorrow right out of the gate. I've made some pretty good money on Whirlpool over the years. So that's one that I am seriously looking at here after doing my scans. And so at any rate, going into tomorrow, it's going to be quite iffy. Like I said, I'm floating that idea that crude gets crushed tonight. And if they do that, then they can support bonds in the overnight session. So let's see if that scenario plays out going into tomorrow's session. But like I said, I do think Powell wants wanted to cause that conflict so they might be able to come out and even announce the first of next week, as early as first of next week, that we might have a rate increase. So that's the risk we got today, that we're going to have a press release tomorrow announcing a rate increase that could be hitting next week. And with the numbers that came out, it could very well happen. So please like this video. Anybody who's watched all these videos, please like it, because that improves from Google. The more likes I get, the better my video quality on these videos. Plus, if you retweet it, that's another thing that helps improve my standing so I can get better quality on my videos, okay? And it actually improves my download speeds as well, okay? Because right now it's taking about 20 minutes to download these videos, and it wasn't doing that before. So it's something they've changed I didn't know about, okay? So Thanks a lot. Appreciate everything. I'll see you in the trading rooms. You can leave comments below the video if you like it or any additional information. Thanks a lot.